What if you have a fantastic opportunity to work and collaborate with someone who, say, has their own digital online course? Maybe they're coaching in something related, but not identical. They are a nutritionist, for instance, or maybe it's a functional doctor who wants to, as a part of what they offer to clients or patients in their part of the world, an exercise program. What would you say? To how much do you charge to create videos for me? I'm Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to She Means Fitness Business, the podcast dedicated to health and fitness coaches who are working specifically with women in midlife or want to. So yes, even those of you who are not yet, quote unquote, certified or trained can become Flipping 50 Menopause Fitness Specialists and may want to start now and have the career that you've always dreamed of, where you get up with purpose, you love what you do, and you know you're helping people who want and need and deserve it. We believe behind the scenes at Flipping 50 that you should have both a life and work that you love and earn a great living doing it without feeling salesy, pushy, or sleazy. And I know exactly how it feels because I actually started over, gutted my life and my business at 49. So at 61, I can gladly say I'm through the other end of the tunnel, but it wasn't easy those first few years. And I made all the mistakes, invested all the money, so you don't have to. So I wrote the blueprint for how to train women in menopause, the Flipping 50 Menopause Fitness Specialist. This podcast is here to help you decide how much you should charge, like the series we're about to do, or determine, do you really want to become a health coach, or are you just looking to potentially coach yourself or maybe a good friend? You'll find all of that here, as well as marketing strategies that work and that feel good, both for you and for the consumer looking for you. There has never been a better time to, one, be a woman over 40 in the world of health and fitness. And there's never been a better time to be a woman over 40, 50, or 60 seeking fitness, as long as we have more people like you with the heart and the knowledge to find them. My job is to help you be found. Let's dig into this episode. But if you're looking for a quick way to self-assess your business right now, you can grab the link to the Fitness Business Scorecard and test yourself. What aspects of your business do you have? Which ones do you need to grow? You can get that at the show notes, and it is fitnessmarketingacademy.com/scorecard. Let's say someone says, how much would you charge to create a series of videos for beginners for our existing class? What's your answer to that? How much do you charge? They may say, how much should you charge to create a series of beginner videos for our site that we have access to and our customers have access to? So they give you a description of what it is that they want. What is your answer to that? You cannot stand and look like you saw a deer in the headlights, okay? So first, there's licensing and use. Are you giving them a rights to use this on their site? Are they giving you credit, right? Is there licensing? There doesn't have to be any licensing, meaning you license them to use it for 2 years and they have to come back. If you want it like that, either way, in either case, you need to write up a contract, an agreement, legally binding. So it's got to have some legal jargon. So determine what it is. If this is your content, you own it, you have the rights to it, and yet you're just allowing them to use it on their site, then much easier, right? And if licensing is involved, then there are legal fees involved. That would be a little bit more expensive for them to purchase, right? You might say also, would you prefer exclusivity? Am I creating these programs and videos exclusively for you? Or I won't be using them on my site, or are you wanting simply to have something that is of mine? I own it, and yet you have the rights to use it. So let me know how specific you want it to be to your audience. So obviously, that's going to be a much higher price if there's exclusivity. I won't use it on my site. No one else will ever have it on theirs. Consider the time that it'll take to design it, to create it, to shoot it, to edit. Now you've got, a significant investment. Most likely, none of us is a great videographer or editor. So you're paying a third party now as well. So in any of these cases, when you're creating a brand, you want to make sure that there's some kind of legal binding agreement so that it's written. You want to have that clause and agreement very clear that both parties have signed it. This is now more of an expensive project. And how much is this going to cost you? Because you're paying a lawyer. How much time will that take you? Always more than you want it to, trust me on that. Or find a lawyer who can give you some templated formats created, customized for you, and those do exist. You're going to look for a lawyer who does this all day, every day, not necessarily like legal.com, okay? You're designing these programs. Take the time to shoot, edit these videos, consider the time or the value of that time. So that time, you may love what you're doing, but if it took you out of doing something else that was going to pay you $500 an hour, as an example, then you have to think, is there any additional cost involved in this? If your team needs you to be doing something else entirely, you have to also factor that in. You've got to be sure you're factoring the cost of your time in doing the project yourself, any cost that would be incurred by you being away from what it is you normally do and what normally earns you money, or peace of mind and fitness. If you could create a product that would be making you passive income, then the cost of doing this project actually could be extremely high, right? So what I'm saying to you is, well, you might be thinking, well, I don't have anything coming in anyway. So doing this, I've got something coming in, but you might want to double think that. So you could quote unquote, hire yourself, create something there that is going to bring you passive income because you're creating a course and an asset that sits on your site that, yes, you have to market before it's actually bringing in revenue. But could your time be spent better there doing that? Or are you going to charge a fee high enough that this will make sense to pull you off of your mission and what it is you do? I will never forget. And if you're an OG, you've been here for a while and listened to all the podcasts, you may have heard this, but I remember getting a very respectful rejection. Essentially, it was a rejection letter from the Betty Rocker, who is Brie Artiner. And she is just so very eloquent, and she is so very kind of mission driven. And, she fielded a question. I don't recall what I was asking her. I might have been asking her to be a guest on a summit, or might have been being a guest on a podcast, or in some other way partner and do something. And I remember she turned me down, but she wrote a very respectful note with it. She said, I so appreciate your asking for thinking about me, but, what we've decided to do is decline because it really takes us off the main mission that we're really trying to focus on. And, at first, of course, you got the no, but then when you sit with something like that in the way that it's received, there is a justification for it. There's a reasoning for it that is very respectful, by the way, and that is a huge distinguishing feature as well. But when you get to a certain point and you have people DMing you constantly to represent them, or in your inbox about collaborating and being an affiliate, you very quickly, if not then slowly, but you realize, oh my gosh, that's what she was dealing with. Like somebody was asking her left and right to collaborate. And every time you read those emails, it's like, it's not just the 60 seconds it took you to read that email. It is that you were in the flow of looking for something else. That email caught your attention. It pulled you now out of what you were doing into this. And that only took a minute, but then you had to decide, no, I'm going to click no, or it distracted you all the way. You clicked a click and link in there. And so it took 5 minutes almost inevitably, no matter what it was, because it took you off and to get you back on track. And what was I doing when you come back to that? So all of those things, when you have no's and or you are asked to do something, treat that like gold, but also respect yourself enough not just to say yes to everything because somebody asked. That is sometimes a good policy. Have a yes year, but sometimes it's also good to say, it's yes to me. Like, here's my mission. I'm sticking with that. Did that take me on my mission or honor my mission? Which is it? That is a really important distinction. I hope that was helpful. And I hope that collaboration is something that opens up. And if you would love the idea of doing that, start thinking about it. Are there functional doctors in your town? Somebody who does something similar, complementary, but not necessarily in competition with you, that would benefit from your particular expertise, and see if you can pursue that. All right, there you have it. The last in our series on how much do you charge. If you're new to this series, you're just bouncing in here from this one. The very first one was how much do you charge, as if it were a meeting planner wanting to book you for speaking in front of a group. Then a potential customer. What do you do in that case? And then it was this collaboration. And what is it that you charge to do something that will serve our community and group, but also potentially get you exposure? And if it's to your ideal audience, you do need to factor that in. Hey, it's Deborah. Real quick, before you go, this is for you. If you are a health coach or a personal trainer, or you'd love to be, and you want to work with women in midlife, maybe you are, or you're trying, but that business is just not getting off the ground. This is all science, but I'm doing a special masterclass for coaches only. The 10 most common mistakes that coaches are making with their menopause clients. And I will give you the what to do instead. Very similar. I'm sharing the science and anecdotally what we see every day with the thousands of women that we're helping in our membership, our programs, and have over this last 11 years. But look, for 41 years, I've been training clients in midlife. I've been training trainers and fitness instructors. And there's a lot of data here to show what works, what's working, and how we use the science that is there. But we can also fill in the gaps by knowing the physiology of exercise together with the physiology of menopause. And we have to pull anecdotally from people and companies like ours who have been doing it for long enough to see a critical mass. Look, if you are still using 30-year-old training model on a 50-year-old client, it's probably not working really well. If you're not booked solid with midlife women and you're not getting praise and testimonials, let's change that. Let's create a better model for you, your business, and the lifestyle you really want, and the impact you'd love to have, as well as for the customers that you serve. Look, let's learn what's not working and exactly how to fix or boost your client results, and in doing so, your bottom line. That happens May 15th. It's at 4 p.m. Pacific or Arizona. Be there live if you can. If not, you know the drill. You can save your seat by going to flipping50.com. You'll see it on a banner at the top, or flipping50.com/10 fitness mistakes. We'll see you there.